Deep in Texas, a presidential estate valued at $15 million claims the title of America's most advanced secret headquarters. Yet almost no one knows how it actually works. The world saw Prairie Chapel Ranch as Bush's rustic retreat, but quietly, its limestone walls conceal a pioneering energy system, a command center built for world crises, and environmental innovations years ahead of their time. How did a former president achieve what even high-tech billionaires have not? The answer begins with a design decision that changed everything. Laura Bush stood at the center of every design decision, insisting the main house remain a single story so her parents could visit comfortably. Working closely with architect David Heyman, she helped shape a home that would settle into the Texas hill country rather than dominate it. The walls rise from limestone, quarried just miles away, their pale color echoing the prairie's own palette. Deep porches wrap around the structure, catching the morning sun and sheltering the windows from the harshest afternoon glare. Every room opens to the landscape, with broad glass doors framing stretches of restored native grassland. George W. Bush took a direct hand in the land itself, spending weekends clearing invasive cedar by hand to bring back the original prairie. These efforts didn't just reveal sweeping views. They restored the balance for wildflowers and songbirds that had nearly vanished. The orientation of the house, the thickness of its stone, the shaded porches, and the open breezeways all reflect a deliberate choice. Comfort achieved not by overpowering the climate, but by working with it. Building permits filed in McLennan County document these choices, from the local limestone to the low horizontal profile. Every detail, from the porch posts to the windowsills, ties the house to the land beneath it. This careful attention to material and form set the stage for a mechanical core designed to work in harmony with the environment, rather than against it. Beneath the limestone and prairie grass, a network of closed-loop pipes runs hundreds of feet into the Texas soil. This is the hidden engine powering the ranch's comfort, a ground-source geothermal system installed at a time when few private homes in America had adopted the technology. Mechanical contractor invoices and drilling permits from the early 2000s document vertical bores reaching nearly 300 feet, deep enough to tap into the Earth's stable temperature, about 67 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. Fluid circulates through these underground loops, carrying heat away from the house during the summer and drawing warmth back in the winter. The main residence, guest house, and even the outdoor pool are all tied into this network, giving the property a single, unified source for heating and cooling. Engineers involved in the project describe the installation as more akin to a small commercial system than a typical home setup, requiring specialized drilling crews and careful coordination with the building's layout. According to Department of Energy data for similar systems, ground source heat pumps of this scale use about a quarter of the electricity of conventional HVAC, delivering a 75% reduction in energy use for heating and cooling. For a property this size, that translates to thousands of dollars saved each year and a dramatic drop in peak power demand during the hottest Texas months. The geothermal system's efficiency was so impressive that initial plans for solar panels were postponed, as the new system already slashed the ranch's energy footprint. What sets this installation apart is not just its early adoption, but the way it supplies comfort to multiple buildings across the estate. Every mechanical detail, from the depth of the bores to the routing of the loops, was chosen to blend seamlessly with the land, leaving no trace on the surface and transforming the way the ranch lives with the climate. Rainfall in central Texas can be unpredictable, with long stretches of drought and sudden heavy storms. At Prairie Chapel Ranch, every roofline has been engineered to capture this scarce resource. Gutters and downspouts run the length of the main house, channeling rainwater into a 25,000-gallon underground cistern buried near the foundation. Permit records from the early 2000s document the installation, one of the largest private cisterns in the county at the time, and the cistern was approved alongside the house's plumbing plans. Collected rainwater passes through a series of simple mechanical filters, removing leaves and debris before it enters the cistern. Maintenance logs kept by ranch staff detail routine checks. Screens are cleared after each major storm, and sediment is flushed from the tanks every few months to keep the system running clean. The water stored below ground is used for irrigating native landscaping, a necessity during the scorching Texas summers when municipal supplies are stretched thin. The ranch's water manager, a fixture on the property since the Bush family moved in, oversees the operation. He describes a cycle where nothing goes to waste. Gray water from sinks and showers is routed through underground treatment tanks, then mixed with captured rain before being used to keep the prairie grasses and wildflowers alive. No constructed wetlands exist here, just a practical loop of collection, filtration, and reuse. This approach does more than conserve water. It creates pockets of habitat where birds and small mammals gather, drawn by the reliable moisture. The system's scale is modest compared to the ranch's acreage, but it is enough to make the main residents largely independent of outside water sources. In a region defined by scarcity, the cistern under the prairie stands as quiet insurance against the next dry season. Rows of photovoltaic panels line the barn roofs and stretch across open ground at Prairie Chapel Ranch, catching the fierce Texas sun from dawn to dusk. Each array is positioned to avoid shading, while preserving the ranch's viewshed, a deliberate balance between utility and landscape. At the heart of the system sits a modest battery bank designed to store excess power for cloudy days and nighttime use. The ranch's utility liaison, a longtime local with deep ties to the co-op, manages the interconnection paperwork and monitors the flow of electricity. Ranch records show that on many days the panels generate more power than the main house and outbuildings consume, and the surplus is quietly exported back to the local grid. This renewable backbone does more than keep the lights on. It powers the electric pumps that draw water from the cistern to irrigate native grasses and wildflowers. It runs the refrigeration and ventilation in the small greenhouse near the equipment shed, a space where the harvest coordinator oversees trays of tomatoes, peppers, and greens grown for family use and occasional donation. While the ranch's food production is modest, local food bank logs confirm periodic deliveries of fresh produce, especially during bumper crop years. The solar system ensures that these operations can run even during power outages, a practical safeguard in a region prone to severe storms. The technical staff, most of whom grew up in McLennan County, describe the satisfaction of seeing the ranch's meters spin backward on sunny afternoons. Their work demonstrates how renewable energy, when tied directly to daily operations, can support both the land and the people tending it. At Prairie Chapel Ranch, solar power isn't just a statement. It is woven into the rhythms of work, harvest, and community support. A private airstrip listed under Federal Aviation Administration, Identifier 1TS5, stretches nearly 5,000 feet across the prairie at Prairie Chapel Ranch. During Bush's presidency, this runway was reinforced and adapted to handle the weight and wingspan of Air Force One, transforming the ranch into a functional command post whenever the president was in Texas. Federal Aviation Administration records confirm the airstrip's dimensions and its use for heavy aircraft, with perimeter security and navigation systems meeting federal standards for presidential travel. While some speculate about underground bunkers, public documentation only verifies above-ground security modifications and secure communication links. The details of any subterranean protective facility remain classified, reflecting standard Secret Service protocols for presidential retreats. What is known is that the ranch's operational infrastructure, including the airstrip, secure fuel storage, and communications, was designed to support the full weight of the presidency, even in the most remote corner of Central Texas. Prairie Chapel Ranch's influence extends well beyond its fences. The estate employs a dedicated team, ranch hands, maintenance staff, and seasonal workers who keep the land productive, and the operations running year-round. Local businesses in Crawford and Waco have seen a steady stream of visitors drawn by the ranch's presidential history, from journalists and dignitaries to tourists hoping for a glimpse of Texas heritage. The on-site art studio where George W. Bush has created hundreds of paintings since 2009 adds a unique cultural layer. Exhibitions of his work have attracted national attention and brought new visitors to the region. Archivists and researchers regularly access materials related to the Bush presidency, supporting a quiet but steady flow of scholarly activity. For the surrounding community, the ranch has become both an economic anchor and a symbol of enduring legacy. Today, private estates like Prairie Chapel Ranch quietly push the boundaries of energy, independence, and conservation. As climate and security challenges grow, these innovations shift from luxury to necessity. What begins as a presidential experiment could soon define how we all live and what we expect from our homes. What do you think?